I mean,
Yeah,
unfortunately, in this case, it is pretty deservedly so. She
yeah,
did not great things to a number of people. Um,
yes,
but like, I guess it's one of those like you never say never, because people, if they are true and they're like regretful, like there is, I think there's a possibility for forgiveness and forgetting and all that. And then on the flip side of that, someone like Robert Downey Jr., while he was more destructive to himself, it wasn't like he was outwardly destructive to others. So
for sure.
that
Well,
is an
that could
easier
have been a
pill to
bad.
swallow.
True. I think the reason I bring him up is because I guess in recent memory, he's the only one that had a quote
Yeah.
unquote black mark on him. Uh, and I say recent memory, not that he did anything destructive or wild. I just mean he's the only person that comes up when I think of coming back with a second chance. Like,
Well, yeah, he's like the biggest example. I mean,
yeah,
coming
exactly.
back as
Like,
Tony Stark.
for example, we'll talk about this later, but with Ezra Miller, when 10 years from now he's in a better place and
Yeah.
he's doing this, like, I guess, comeback, he will realize what he did was wrong. Again, I can't tell the future, but
Hmm.
that's my notion. But for Allison Mack, I hope, she's going to go through her trials and tribulations. I hope best things for her. I hope she doesn't believe what she was doing.
Yeah.
I hope she does her therapy or whatever you need to,
To move
do your
on.
penance, do your life penance, and see, hopefully good things happen for her, and she's not doing other weird stuff. But yeah, that was in the news recently. I feel like people need to know a little bit about the outside news that's not world news.
Yeah, of course. This is these things are important because it's always gonna go back to the things that we like, right? And a lot of pop culture, it includes people that unfortunately aren't always gonna be great.
Yeah,
Smallville was a big deal. It continues to be a big deal moving forward. We have all these movies with different stars, comic book movies, superhero movies, whatever you get, action movies, anything. All the stuff that we talk about, unfortunately, sometimes they include people that have done bad stuff. So it is important for us to kind of relay that so that the people that enjoy these things can make decisions based on the information I've had of them, do your own research, and there's also something to be said of like removing the creation from the creator, like moving the art from the artist. So there is something to be said about that as well. But yeah, no, it's important to share everything so that people can make up their minds on stuff. But speaking about making up your mind on things, in today's world, there's a kabillion different social medias. As of late, we know Twitter has been riding the nuclear bomb straight to the Nevada desert. And in the meantime, things have been popping up on the wayside. Be Real is probably one of the bigger supporters. Well, maybe not supporters, one of the bigger I guess, competitors in that space competing against Instagram and Twitter. Um, as well as for a little while, there was something called Mastodon. I don't know if it stood around.
I just think of Blue Ranger. Is it
And
Blue Ranger or is it Black
Black
Ranger?
Ranger, Black
Yeah.
Ranger. And then as of late, we have Threads from Instagram. Now, Threads, I think it's literally Threads by Meta, is what it's called, but it
Yeah.
has integration with your Instagram account. I'm sure every single person like has heard about this already. It
Yes. You cannot not have heard of this.
it made waves throughout everything, and it's funny because this comes off of last week news, right? When we were talking about Elon and Mark Zuckerberg might be doing a cage match in the Coliseum, like that was a thing. That's a thing that's being discussed. But
I think this is about to be virtual fight.
but now Threads has launched a week ago, and it is a direct competitor to Twitter. It's literally a feed with text-based line items. I mean, you could share other media and stuff, but it's text-based stuff, and it gathered 100 million users in its first week, which is record-breaking.
That's, yeah, that's fast.
So I think it got 1 million in like an hour or something the first day it launched. But the other thing is, it's so incredibly easy to set it up. All you need to do is like literally click um, the Threads thing on Instagram, and then you're automatically, you download the Threads app, and then it pushes you there, and you already, if you have an Instagram account, you have a Threads account. So you can, I mean, you can make a separate one if you want, but it has that integration between both apps. And even when you're in Threads, as soon as you're done, you can hit the Instagram icon and it flips you back to Instagram. So you don't have to leave their space if you're, trying to get your social
I
media fix.
I think that's dope, as you said off air earlier. Like you said it best. It's Twitter for dummies. Because look,
Mm-hmm.
I don't use Twitter. Especially when Twitter came out. Twitter started to become popular when we were freshmen in college. So when I heard of the first words were hashtag, I immediately thought of hash browns. I didn't. I was hungry at the time. It was a morning class. I remember specifically someone saying, "Yeah, Twitter is about this," and I never fully got into Twitter. I didn't. I've never made an account. I think
Mm-hmm.
till post college, and I just had it there. Maybe it was in college. I just had it, never used it. And then until recently, meaning maybe a couple years ago, I was like, let me just make it the same name as my
Yeah.
IG account. But then again, I rarely put on there. I don't have that many followers. Nobody follows me, especially if I told them to follow me there. I don't have that pull.
Yeah.
But with something like Threads, it's kind of like Facebook too, in the sense of where Facebook is interconnected with Instagram. If I post on Instagram, it shows up on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
and people think I'm active, but I'm like, I'm not on. I'm active, but not there. You're just seeing what I'm posting.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool. Threads does that too. I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, um, or pulled the thread. Knee slapper. Um, that's how we get canceled. I just ruined everything. Um, I think it's cool. My only concern is, and if let's say you don't like it and you want to delete it,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to delete the account, you have to delete your Instagram. I'm sure you can delete the app. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. You
It's just
can.
you don't. If you do, what's the point of deleting the account? I already have this thing. Is once you make an account, it exists.
Yeah.
I'd rather just delete the app.
Yeah. I mean, you can. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could erase everything off of it,
Yeah,
and leave it blank. Like that's a total option. But yes, if you want to delete yourself off of Threads after you connected it to Instagram, you do need to, like, you would have to delete your Instagram account. Remember, this is, early stages, so the it's possible that we're gonna get more updates, better UI, more functions, because it's very bare bones right now. Really, all it is posting stuff. What's keeping it afloat is the support. There's a bunch of people. We're talking companies, celebrities. There's partners. There's affiliations. Like, people are all over this thing. Like, when
yeah,
you go there, it also uses Instagram's algorithm to serve you things that you would like. So not only do you get served, like, when you're brand new, you'll get served like some accounts that you are following on Instagram already, so you can follow them there, or it'll serve you like suggested things of like accounts that you might want to follow, similar to
yeah,
Instagram.
yeah,
So, and the other really good part is it's such a small, like, in terms of social media, it's a small community right now, smaller.
yeah.
So
Smaller.
there's not a billion people
It's,
on it yet.
it's growing exponentially.
Yeah, so like there's stuff like the first thing that comes to mind is like James Gunn. James Gunn is a massive individual, especially in movie entertainment. His stuff is getting like a couple hundred likes, So there is that visibility. Like, I've gone on it, like I've commented on, I don't know, a handful of different things, and like other people will comment or like it. It doesn't get lost in the shuffle as much as other things have.
Like Twitter.
Yeah. So it's good. The other saving grace is that there are no ads, and there are like community guidelines. So there's no like cursing. There's you can't do anything that's like not copacetic. Like you
Yeah,
can't say anything like Twitter. And I think
yeah,
this is it's not policing or anything. It's just like it's guidelines, right? And I think those are
Yeah,
good.
it's supposed to be a safe space. That's all it is. Like, and I think, and that's the thing. I understand uh, where people are coming from when it comes to free speech, but I think there should be a guidelines on hate speech,
Well,
like that, and negativity. You can always have arguments. You can have disagreements, but then when it starts to turn into a darker side, it then what's the point?
yeah. And it's seen right now. Public presentation is that it is a safer space. It's a community rather than just a place where you can dump all your thoughts. So it's nice. Let's see how it continues to evolve. But I definitely back it. I think it's really cool. Um, and yeah, it's just it's fun. It's simple and fun, and that's what I never really got into Twitter because of how complicated it got. When I first had Twitter in like college era, like I was on it and stuff, but as it continued to grow, I shifted to Instagram, and Twitter for me now is just like it's just a lot. So now, seeing this simplified version, it's just easier for me to jump on and to digest and grow with it, if it continues.
I agree. I agree.
So
I might pull the trigger on it soon. I just right now I'm just like, let me take my time, but I should do it fast because then I would like to enjoy the visibility. As that's one of the things that
yeah,
like one of the reasons I comment on things is no one's gonna see it. But lately, because I've been engaging, I could assume that I'm getting some sort of like I guess visibility, notice.
hmm
People are starting to like things that I say that are probably I'm assuming they think it's witty, so it just kind of bumps up on the feed. I could just imagine that, but
the
that's
algorithm.
just me. That the algorithm is like, okay, this is working.
Yeah. So you know, everyone go check it out. It's a cool place. I mean, look into it. So moving on from that, kind of going towards the WB side. I know we did speak about Smallville already, which is a Superman property, but we're gonna go into a different WB property, The Flash.
Oh, unfortunate. Well, I'll say this. I think, and I said it last time. I saw The Flash in theaters for what it was. I said it was a letdown. I enjoyed it for what it was, but it was a letdown.
Mm-hmm.
I had no expectations, but I did have the expectation, and this is not really a spoiler. It's been out for some time now, but my expectation was this is supposed to wrap up everything that was the DCEU slash the Snyderverse.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't. It basically left this somewhat open, and I was just like, and they had time. They had time to do research shoots. It was just one big Easter egg fest.
Yeah.
There were articles saying why is the CGI so bad? There was CGI. There were moments in the movie. Have you seen it yet?
No.
There were moments that uh, when he goes into this time bubble, where basically he's going through time, everything is CGI, but it was done in a way where that's how he would see things. But then again, and I don't like to say people are dumb, but people are dumb and they're not going to understand that, oh, yeah, Flash sees everything in this weird
Yeah.
texture. Doesn't make sense. Even to me, I was like, if I didn't read that article, I would have been like, there's too much CGI here.
Mm-hmm.
And funny enough, me and my friends were here hanging out last week, and we were talking about compared to Man of Steel. Man of Steel still holds up to this day when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to their, I guess, practical location. That's what I say that specifically because in the Flash, there's a specific scene that's supposed to mimic Man of Steel, but it's just all backdrop, and it just doesn't look good. You would think they would have done a better job, but they didn't. Again, it just again it was a letdown for me. So going into this article from I pulled from InsideTheMagic.net. Um, I'll just read two paragraphs here. DC has been stuck between a rock and a hard place for many years, and though DCEU slash Snyderverse is officially ending, there have been a few holdouts from the era of films. Shazam 2, The Flash, Aquaman 2 are the last films with significant ties to the era before James Gunn. took over DC Films. So far, Shazam 2 and The Flash have bombed at the box office, which understandably, I didn't see Shazam 2, don't care to, because personal opinion, and you might agree, and many people might agree, I think, and this is not pointing fingers at WB. This also goes to Disney slash Marvel. Too much promotion. It's just too much promotion and
Yep.
revealing your hand so much. It's just annoying. Like that's for the longest time since probably after Phase One of Marvel, I just said I'm going to just watch the first trailer of movies and keep it at that. Um, so, oh, sorry, I just like lost my page here. Um, yeah, so they bombed at the box office. So, uh, Flash is being pulled from theaters. I forget how many theaters. Was it like in the thousands or something like that, or hundreds? I'm like losing
I
my.
think it might have been hundreds. I don't think it was thousands.
Sorry, it was 1,000, 1,500. It was
Oh,
1,500.
1,500.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So yeah. So it's being pulled from theaters. And there was another article that I forget where I pulled this, but a lot of articles are saying this. They just finally made their money back, but they just like
Mm.
leapt, they or not leapt, leapt, humped, whatever the word, limped. That's the word I was doing. They limped to the finish line, getting their money back.
They humped to the
But
finish
that's
line.
they hope to finish
Yep.
something. So yeah, so it sucks to hear. Look, people hate on the movies you want. It's fine. I just think it's not. It is everyone's fault. That's all I'll say. I'm not gonna get too philosophical. It is everyone's fault. You didn't like what they were providing you, so you gave hate. And I always said it before, and I'll say it again. You were given Soda all these years, Soda being Marvel, you gave Soda all these years. The moment we give you fine wine, I'm not trying to say Snyderverse is perfect, but I'm just saying we give you fine wine, you don't like it. It's still, what he started out with was fine, but then after he was exited, it's just derailed. It was just a massive train wreck with Frankenstein, and I don't know what we got after that. Again, I thought Flash was going to be the, I guess, nice wrap up, and then that's it. But it doesn't. And we said this a couple episodes ago, or not a couple, we said this many episodes ago. Aquaman 2, why are we getting this? If we were gonna look, I love Aquaman as a DC hero, but when it comes to the movies, why are we getting this movie when it's not gonna do anything for us? And then also thinking outside of the DC universe, Jason Momoa is supposed to play supposedly play Lobo. If
Yeah.
that's confirmed, I think that's where they were hinting at. But it's like, are you gonna play two characters or what? So that to me is a little
Yeah. They,
wishy.
I mimic that too. I don't know why they're putting it out. Clearly, it's just to like make whatever money back they can.
If you were,
Um,
yeah, if you did that with Batgirl, why didn't you just do it with this?
yeah, like and Batgirl was a property that people were actually excited for, and
Exactly.
that's what I think that's what bothers me more. Like Batgirl isn't an entity where we were like, why are we getting this? Like, no, it would have been a
It could have lived in its
fine.
own. Yeah, it
Yeah,
could have lived in its own story, and we would have been
Michael
fine
Keaton
with it.
was supposed to be in that one too, and
Yeah,
like,
I was supposed to all set up
uh,
for Batman Beyond and all
yeah,
the yeah.
like a lot of things were filmed, and it was just like I think last pass of editing and VFX needed to be put on it. But like you're talking about, you had a whole movie film. Like, what was the point of that? Like,
Yeah.
that was something that actually could have been fun. You didn't have to put $1 billion of budget into it. But then we have other stuff like you're saying, right? Like Shazam 2 and Flash, we knew they were gonna flop. And we knew it. It wasn't. There was no way for it to make money. Now Aquaman 2 is another one. Like, it's going to flop. It's not gonna make its money because it's no longer a property that people are aligned with. Like, think about it. The the person that isn't doing their research and not staying on top of pop culture and like how studios are moving around, like they go to see these movies for interconnectivity and for fun stuff. Like, if they're hearing all the other ones suck, like why would they go to this movie? And then
Yeah.
the other half of the audience that does keep up with trends and is keeping up with the industry, like they're not going to go because they know it doesn't matter. So who are
Yeah.
you pandering to? Like, who's your target audience
Yeah,
now?
and that's exactly it. Because I didn't see Shazam 2 because I was like, I knew it was gonna flop. I've been hearing that the the kid actor and Zachary Levy, whatever, they weren't in sync compared to the first movie, which to me it's kind of like it falls in the issue of like Thor: Love and Thunder or Venom
Hmm.
2. It's like more of that movie where it's like, no, you're just copying pasting. There's no genuine passion behind it. Um, Aquaman 1 did super well because I think it was Aquaman 1.
Yeah, it
Aquaman 2
was.
is not going
This was
to
a
the same love.
property that we've never gotten before on the big screen. Like it was. It had that cachet of like, wow, this is new. Like this is
Yeah.
new. You know.
So again, unless it blows us out the water. But again, I'm not fiending to see it. So here's another paragraph I wanted to read. So before we like stick on this, because I can rant about this all day. So in the same article, Inside the Magic, what makes matters worse is that between those three films, the upcoming Blue Beetle DCU. So this is the Blue Beetle is part of James Gunn's world.
Yes.
I guess both in and out, but it's just doing its own thing. Uh, will reportedly spend upwards of 1.2 billion to promote and release them. It's like, what was the point?
They're not getting it.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you just give me one and two, give me one and two trailers, right? Wait, the first trailer we got the teaser, and then
We
that
got
was
the
a teaser.
teaser and the first trailer. We got those two.
We'd be fine. Just keep repeating it. Stop showing me these things
Give us
because
different
I'll be sitting in
different
the
cuts
theater.
of the trailer, different like
I
TV
saw the
cuts
whole
and stuff.
movie already. I already
Yeah.
saw the whole movie. It's like, why am I going to go see this now? Oppenheimer, Barbie, two properties that are not Disney or Marvel. I mean, not Disney or WB. I'm like, and I kind of want to like throw some shade right now. So I saw this thing. This has nothing to do with what I don't know if we have this in our docket, but Chris Nolan says there's no CGI in Oppenheimer.
Yes. Yeah.
And that is a big slap in the face to WB because he did work with them at some point, and it's to me, I don't think definitely didn't do this, but I want to throw shade at WB for Chris Nolan. Practical effects saves movies, saves your money, saves time. Well, it doesn't save time; it puts more time, but that means there's love into it. Practical effects all day.
And at this point,
Exactly.
practical effects are like the new CGI. Because remember when CGI came out, everyone was like, "Oh, whoa, they're able to do this stuff." And now that
It
it's
reached the point. It reached the height. Now it's again, I think that one of the best blends of CGI was Force Awakens because I remember J.J.
yes,
Abrams was like, "Hey, practical effects was a thing. CGI wasn't a thing back in the day. We kind of went too hard with the
mm-hmm.
snorting CGI like crazy. Now he's like, I kind of want to blend the two. And look, sequel trilogies, say what you will, but you can't take away practical
Yeah,
effects.
the cinematography, right, that's
Oh,
added from the practical effects is second to none. Like practical effects, like it's real. You have to work things out. It does take longer. There is some R&D that has to be done, but the product is far better. Um, yeah, it's something that needs to be in more movies. And yeah, just one last note before we move on from this,
yeah.
like something like Oppenheimer, right? Like when we're talking about the marketing budgets, like Oppenheimer does not have a massive marketing budget. Do you see commercials for it? Yeah. Is it on like, the coming attractions for movie reels? Yes. But
Oh,
like,
also being bolstered by people and the trends because of the what's it called, the Barbenheimer. Like
yes.
two movies that I want after I see Oppenheimer. If I'm not doing anything, I might just go double feature. I will
And
just
that's
hop into
and
that.
that's another thing that made headlines. Like AMC already has, I think AMC touted that 20,000 members. So these are people with accounts have already purchased the Barbie and Oppenheimer double feature for the same day.
Nice.
So like it's a thing, right? Like because we talked about it with Film and Spirits podcast way back when, like Barbie and Oppenheimer coming out on the same day, like that was gonna be really cool. And lo and behold, everyone else got it, and now we're at this point where like there's such
Yeah,
massive extremes. It's fun to think about it, like seeing that thing in the same day. I saw a couple of memes that compared it to back during COVID and lockdown was happening. Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing came out on the same day, and remember there was cross promotion like crazy on the internet with different fan arts and stuff, and even like Microsoft and Nintendo got into it. It was like tweeting stuff and sharing pictures. Like it was a thing. So it there's a lot to be said with grassroots campaigns. Like I think when campaigns like that are started with the fan bases, it does way better than the billions you can spend plastering superhero all over the place.
yeah, exactly.
So talking about plastering a superhero all over the place, and James Gunn, because they're both in our next topic. James
Right,
Gunn's
right, right.
Superman Legacy, first reported on by Vanity Fair, has casted a couple of new faces into the movie,
And old.
and I'm happy.
Yeah. New,
So,
well, new faces and old because he's James Gunn's worked with this one person
well,
many times.
yeah, but new faces into the, I guess they've added
Oh,
new
I see.
people to the cast. That's what I
I
mean.
see what you gotcha. I picked it up. I
So,
picked it up.
if you remember, we have David Corn Sweat playing Sweet
No, you got it. You had it. You had it the
Corn
first time.
Sweat.
I feel like
Yep.
I got it. I'm holding you to it.
David Cornsweet, he's gonna be Superman. We also got Marvelous Miss Maisel's Rachel Brosnan coming in as Lois Lane. But the new people added, and it could not make my heart happier. Nathan Fillion will be joining the cast as the Guy Gardner Green Lantern. And if that doesn't say perfect casting, I don't know what does. He's known for being snarky. His like characters have that like little edge
Oh,
to him.
he's a straight douche.
This is gonna be so perfect.
And in Guardians, he kind of gave that vibe. So like,
Oh yeah.
and Nathan Fillion has range. If he's gonna play a douche, Guy Gardner's perfect.
Absolutely. Then we got, I'm gonna mess this up, but we got Edie Gathagay,
Let's stick with that. I'm gonna. I would said the same thing in my head.
who was casted to play Mr. Terrific. Awesome casting.
I want to say this though. I'm happy that he's getting his, I guess, shine,
Yeah.
the limelight for this. Because after First Class, I was upset.
Yeah, that's the
He was
only
the
thing
first
I know him from too.
guy. He was the black guy, got killed in the beginning, who was the most powerful character
Oh
in
yeah.
the movie, but gets killed off. That didn't sit right with me in First Class. I'm happy that he's getting his time here, Mr. Terrific, and I'm hoping he's done better than the Arrow version because in the Arrow version, Mr. Terrific got beat up all the time, and it's like, why is the black guy always getting beat up? Well, especially with his name being Mr. Terrific, and he's supposed to be like highly intelligent. He's like the type you shouldn't be able to touch,
Yeah.
but I hope he fills that role and is, I guess, better than the TV version. But I'm
I feel
happy
like
that
I feel
he's
like he
getting his.
could bring that to the character. His acting, I think, would elevate it. Hopefully, the
Yeah,
writing. I mean, it's James Gunn. I'm sure the writing will be great. So,
yeah.
and then last but not least, we have Isabella Merced.
I
Marquette,
would say it's short for Mercedes, but you
but
just
it's
stop using Mercedes.
Merced.
No, no, no. That's what I'm saying. You just cut it off. Just say it that as you said it. You said it correctly.
I don't recognize her from anything. Do you?
Yes, you do.
Do I?
Dora.
Get out of here! That this is freaking
Yeah, dude.
Dora from the Dora
She's grown
movie.
up. She's grown up. Well,
That's
she's 22, but she was like I think 19 or 18 when she did Dora.
that's crazy.
That's what I was saying. I was like, I know you do.
And she's casted to play Hawkgirl, and she actually has that face. I can see the mask on her, and I can
I'm happy they
see.
chose her, not specifically her, but for her age as well.
Yeah,
Because if they're going with this route, mind you, Hawk Girl or Hawk Woman or Hawkman, yeah, Hawkman, they're both what's the word I'm looking for? Immortal. Depending on what storyline they decide to play with,
hmm
reincarnation or immortality or alien race. I don't know what they're going to decide with that. And doing away with the Black Adam version, we'll see what they do with that. Also, I just want to say she was in Sicario. She was the little girl, the second movie. Day of Sol Day
Wow,
of the Soldado.
that one.
That's it. That that's the
So
power
that's
rating.
crazy that she was Dora. That blows my mind. So so cool casting news. I mean, I'm most excited for Nathan Fillion. I think the other two will do a great job in their roles, especially like casting to fill the, I guess, accurate portrayal of the characters is usually a pretty big deal, and I think they casted right. I know these actors. I've like now that I know that that's Dora, I can see her playing this a little bit. She definitely has the facial features for it, and then as well as Mr. Terrific, I can see him bringing that same temperament of the Mr. Terrific character that I know from the comic books. I can see him bringing that temperament to the character, and with James Gunn behind the script, I think it'll do great.
Yeah,
Um, so
I am.
good casting news.
Yeah.
So from the cast to the set, this past week we've seen some mind shattering news around Deadpool 3. So, first up, we did get confirmation from the Hollywood Reporter that Jennifer Gardner was going to be reprising her role as Elektra in Deadpool 3. You know, I don't. Whoever's. And I saw this on like Instagram or something. Whoever's working security on that Deadpool 3 set needs to get fired because the leaks have been free flowing with the different
Yeah,
characters.
it was very. It was like you walked in and took your 4K camera and taking these beautiful pictures, like you were in the set, or you're actually someone that's working there and just walking out with these pictures.
So yeah, it's wild. I don't know.
Paparazzi is like Mission Impossible. They're just skydiving to get these pictures.
Yeah, man. Like we're seeing like we're getting these character news updates, right? All these rumors that are have been like hitting the middle of the returning like Fox universe characters, and then we get a confirmation like Jennifer Gardner's gonna be coming back, and then now we're getting set photos coming, right? Like you said, like people skydiving onto the sets to get these photos. The first round that we got to see where it looks like a fight scene between Deadpool and Wolverine. Wolverine wearing a comic accurate, astonishing Wolverine costume, yellow and blue.
So I have to say this, and I'm gonna shout out my boys. I'm not by name, so I dig it. I'm not like fiending, like oh my god. I'm not foaming at the mouth, but it does touch the little boy in me, the childhood boy. That makes sense. The child boy in me, in my heart, in my core zone. When I was a kid, before live action became a regular thing in my brain,
Mm-hmm.
I've always had the idea. When I was a kid, I grew up with the cartoons, the '97, and I always said, "Oh, I want to make that movie. I want to make the live action X-Men movie." Lo and
Mm-hmm.
behold, they've been working on it. But my dumb self was like, it was an original idea
Yeah.
in my head. I wanted to create Spider-Man. I wanted to create the X-Men, and I was like, "All right, if I'm gonna do this, how am I gonna get the metal claws to pop out?" My movie magic brain wasn't there yet. I didn't know about CGI and practical effects, so I was like, I definitely want to bring that yellow and blue suit to
Mm-hmm.
life. Obviously, that never happened because I'm here and I'm not there. And we got the 2000 version of X Men. Not saying the 2000 version of X Men was horrible. It's just that's what came out and it looked
Mm-hmm.
good for the screen. Now, I dig it. I personally love, or not personally, I really love the Days of Future Past um, outfit that Logan has. It's
Mm-hmm.
subtle and it
Yeah.
works. This to me,
It's
this
more modern. It's like a futuristic take.
it's modern. I mean, not even futuristic. It works. It's tactical. It works. It
Tactical.
gives
That's
me
probably
that.
a better. Yeah.
It works and it looks good. It's pleasing to the eye. If they gave me that in for this, I would have been fine with it. But they're just like, let's just do comic accurate, and I'm all for it. But
Mm-hmm.
this just, I'm happy they're doing it. Just to say they did it. Um, Two, my cousin and my other boy just don't care for it. I'm like, that's fine, but you're still gonna see the movie. I'm, and I also say that I'm biased. I'm like, I'm not mad about it. There's like people saying it's too bright. I'm like, hey, I don't care. I'm gonna see the
These are
movie.
also like unofficial photos. Like they're not like
So I said
in the
that, and
film. There's gonna be filters and like color grading
and
and
I said
stuff.
that,
Like
and he's just like, and then they started throwing stuff at me
yeah.
like, oh, but look at First Class, and I'm like, yeah, First Class is cool and all, but when I give me more, I don't care. Give me the spandex with Rogue, or you know why I say Rogue. Um, give me the storm with the white billowing thing. Just
Oh hell yeah.
do a good job with that, and I'm always because I'm seeing these things come to life. If it and I was saying if I'm not gonna get stressed about something I have no control over, I'm gonna see it. I enjoy it, and it looks good. I'm not a fan of the shoulder pads, though. I'll say that
Well, then
though.
you're
The
not
shoulder
a
pads,
fan. Then you're a
it's
piece of
but
garbage,
that's
and
the
you
one
need to
where
reevaluate your love and your
reevaluate.
passion for these comic books. How dare you?
Yeah, yeah. I should throw all these away. Just
Yeah.
Stan Lee. I just don't watch. No, but like I think the shoulder pads. If you look at the shoulder pads in Days of Future Past, it seems more sleeker.
Yeah.
But again, it's whatever. When it comes to the look, we could have had a blue underwear.
Yeah.
We could have had blue underwear.
Yep.
They decided not to go with it.
There you go. You wanted real.
And hey,
You wanted
and
something
then
realistic. There you go. They took away the blue underwear.
yeah, and then what else? Oh, and then there was a comparison. It's like we went from this to this. So it was like the Wolverine,
Mm.
not the Wolverine. It was what was that movie called? It wasn't called the Wolverine. The Wolverine's the
Wolverine
second one.
Origins.
It was Wolverine Origins. It's like a comparison. It showed Deadpool and that you know Hugh Jackman's Wolverine versus this one. I was like, look, that's a big leap, and it's not like we overshot it. We hit the mark. It's not your type of thing, but if you gave me that again, I'm not gonna go see the movie. So I see what you're complaining about, but to be overly committed to this like hate of the fit, I'm why?
It's
I'm happy
and
with that.
I think it's cool, man. Like
I
I've
dig it.
been
I'm all
I've
for
been
it.
foaming at the mouth for a astonishing Wolverine suit
Oh,
since.
a lot of you guys. Oh, wait, what's the orange one? That's not astonishing. That's
No,
the
that's Origins.
that
The
was origin. Yeah,
That was
like yeah,
from Wolverine Origins, the
my cousin
comic
was
book.
like, I'd rather had the origins one. I'm like, look, they teased it in the Wolverine. Maybe it makes an appearance. I don't know, but
So yeah, in the Wolverine they teased the astonishing one. It was yellow.
no, the orange one I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know, but in the Wolverine, at the end when he opens up the case, it's yellow.
No, it's orange, dude. It's been a while since you've seen the movie. That's why I
I
brought it
don't
up.
believe that. I think you're wrong.
All right, do your research. But anyway, I'm all for it.
It would make sense that it was orange because it was following the Wolverine Origins like storyline thing, I guess, because it was
I like
after.
how you got a baffle too. You were just like as you're looking at
It would make sense, but I really don't think that. I
it, like
think it
as
was yellow.
there should be a thing. It's like the time that Justin is right.
Like,
But yeah, man, I'm all for it, man. I'm happy to see. Oh, and I you know
yeah,
how
it
many
was
times
yellow. It's yellow.
it's not
I'm not wrong. It's yellow. Yeah. It's yellow, but it's not yellow and blue. It's yellow and like black accents.
black. That's yellow.
It's yellow. Yeah, I
Oh,
wasn't
that's
wrong.
not. Am
Because
I
I remember
colorblind?
losing my freaking mind in the movie theater, and I was like, "They're finally gonna do it!" Ah! And then I died, and I had to come back. But
I guess I'm colorblind. But yeah, it's not blue accents. Then. I
no,
know
it's
it's
not
definitely
blue. It's black. Like very, it's black. It's not blue at all. But but yeah, like I'm happy that they're doing this. The costume itself, obviously, it's updated for a modern movie. Yes, the suits are bright, but if you look at Deadpool's suit, his suit is like bright red. It
look. I understand it's ketchup and mustard,
yes,
but
like
hey,
they have to
those are
do
the
it like
things that
that.
work in a restaurant. When you walk into a restaurant, you don't see like ketchup and relish. You don't see ketchup and it's ketchup and mustard. So
You're really leaning into the ketchup and mustard thing.
it's kind of like when Kevin in the office was like Pam Beasley and Jim Halpert is like it's PB and
PB&J.
J, and he like freaked out.
So this is the combo that we need. I'm happy we're getting comic accurate suits. Yes, they're a little bright, but you're gonna get over it in the movie. Um, what else? And oh, also one of the set photos revealed like a battle ruined 20th Century Fox logo.
I peeped. I peeped.
So that was really
I
funny.
didn't understand it, but look, it's I guess it's meant to break the fourth wall.
Yeah,
So
it's I mean
you
because
know,
20th Century Fox doesn't exist anymore. Disney took them over. Now it's just
yeah,
20th
no,
Century
no, but I just
Studios.
wonder how that would play out when we see it. That's why
So
I'm expecting that.
and this is a thing that I've been seeing in multiple places. Um, there's a comic line where Daredevil kills the Marvel universe. I mean, not Daredevil. Deadpool kills the
Deadpool.
Marvel universe. So I think they're doing that, but it's gonna be Deadpool killing the Fox universe. That would make sense as to why we're seeing all these cameos. He's going around cleaning it up for Disney and MCU
The way,
proper.
yeah, and then the way the last movie ended, I can see that because now he has the ability to do it.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, it it's what do you call it? Why I'm like blanking. He has the ability to teleport or time travel or
Yeah.
both. You know what storyline you're reading.
So yeah, so these were actually posted to Twitter. It was funny because directly after all this broke, Ryan Reynolds put out a teaser image of Wolverine and Deadpool walking down whatever road. They're side by side, and he's like, "Here, you can now see it in high res because they were blurry and stuff from the leaks." But
Yeah.
again, this was something that leaked on Twitter, and then I believe his response was on Threads, if I'm not mistaken. I think he posted the real photo
Yeah.
to Threads instead of Twitter.
I have a
But
question now. You know when someone says you tweeted it,
yeah,
you can't say I threaded it
that's been
because
like the
I think we
lingo. I've threaded it because it's called a thread. Like your feeds
yeah,
or like whatever you're doing, it's called a thread. So
yeah, that all makes sense to me. But what is going to be the
I've
verbiage
sewn
or
it
the
like
verb?
SEWN. I've
I love that.
sewn it.
I sewed it in.
Yeah,
I sewed it. I sewed it.
I
I
sewed it
sewed my
in.
threads.
I sewed my threads. Yeah.
We'll come up with something better. I like that one. That was dope.
Okay, so then coming off of that, we also received some. We received one set photo from Venom 3 from Tom Hardy. It's literally
Yeah.
Tom Hardy kind of like constipated screaming, and next to him is like a
Oh,
graffiti dog that's a stencil like on a wall. That's it. No, there's
oh.
nothing else.
I saw that was a thing, and I was like, I didn't see this image. I was like, what new thing? I probably saw it and didn't think anything of
Yeah,
it.
it's super forgettable. Which is good, I guess. It's just confirming like, hey, they are working on it right now because it was a production thing, so it's in production. Filming is happening, which is good to know. But the thing itself gave nothing. I mean, maybe later on we'll find out that it told the entire movie in one picture and we didn't even know. But who
Right?
knows? um, so continuing on, we did get a couple of trailers this week. So
Yes.
honorable mentions that we're not going to get into, but we got a second full Blue Beetle trailer. So go check that out. We also got a second full trailer for the Peacock show, Twisted Metal, and it actually goes a little deeper into the meta around like Anthony Mackie's character and the different characters that he'll be fighting. The last teaser trailer that we got showed off Sweet Tooth, one of the fan favorite characters from the series. So this trailer will actually get a deeper dive into some other things that are going on in the world. And we were also blessed today, of all days, we were blessed with a new Ahsoka trailer. Well, with the Ahsoka trailer, I should say. And
That was beautiful. I'll say that. That's all I'm saying.
it was gorgeous. It was something I watched it and I watched it with a straight face, and then afterwards I was like, I'm in. I couldn't
Also,
be more in.
again, I keep saying I don't want to say anymore, but voice actor for Thrawn playing Thrawn made so much sense. That's it. I'm done.
And he looks
He gets the
amazing.
part. Yeah. Like if you were thinking of anyone else, you were wrong.
Yeah, like he's literally like it's literally Thrawn.
I probably would not have watched the show if it wasn't him. That's a lie. I would have
Like
watched it, but that's how mad I would have been.
they just did a such a good job. The makeup, perfect. he himself looks like Thrawn. It's fantastic. Go check it out. It's a juicy trailer. It's
You're
like
happy
two
I told you to
minutes.
watch Rebels, right?
I mean, you're the one who took forever to watch Rebels, but I suggest everyone watch Rebels before Ahsoka so that you caught up. It is a great time.
Yes. This is
Um,
technically the sequel to Rebels.
yeah. So what I liked is in the trailer we got a couple Easter eggs. Right, we got an Easter egg to the last episode, last scene of Rebels. Right, we got to see what it looks like in live action, and it was really cool looking. We got some character crossovers. Yeah, it was done very well. And yeah, it's actually going to be premiering August 23rd, 2 days after my birthday, and it will be premiering with 2 episodes.
We should do a Disney watch.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yep. It's not Disney watch. It's a live party. They're different for depending on what streaming service you use. But live party, we should do that.
Yes. And then on stepping away from the almighty House of Mouse and all of its properties, we also got the Wonka trailer today, which stars one of a recurring fan favorite of the Average Days podcast, Timothy Chalamet, and
Yeah.
it looks fun, right? I'm I like all things pop culture. I'm not gonna be over here like, oh, I'm a diehard Willy Wonka fan. Like, I love Willy Wonka. You know, the original Gene Wilder movie. Um, I att- yeah. I attempted to read the book when I was younger. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Charlie's Chocolate Factory.
Yeah. So we got it was great. Let me just say that the trailer was awesome. I've seen the different movie versions. I'm gonna watch this one. This one seems to be a direct prequel to the Gene Wilder, Charlie and Chocolate Factory, whatever it was.
Yeah.
It shows off a young Willy Wonka becoming a chocolatier. It shows actually an Oompa Loompa, which is like it harkens back to the OG Oompa Loompas that are orange with green hair, not like the Johnny Depp reimagining. That movie was good in itself as well. Don't get me wrong, but this just looks more like, you know, for those who loved the Gene Wilder one, this is gonna be up your alley. You know, it seems like it's literally the prequel to that character. So, and we got a trailer. It's 2.5 minutes. It was really fun. Couple of big names. Oh yes, there's after this, there's nothing more needed.
After this, you're telling me the whole movie.
Yeah.
Might as well just release it.
So yeah, it was super cool to watch. Go check it out, everyone. Yeah, we got some nice little homages. And another thing that I saw, this is kind of like besides the point. I saw it on the interwebs. The actor in the Hulu show The Bear. Do you know who
Yes.
I'm talking about? I don't remember his name.
The main one.
It's the main guy. So I saw a side by side photo comparison, and he looks
I know what you're talking about.
exactly like a young Gene Wilder. And oh my god, do I want him to do something with Willy Wonka or to do something with Gene Wilder as in like a biopic or something like that.
Yeah, because you if you were like, oh, let's do a sequel, then it's like Timothy Chalamet um, is kicked out, and then you would put him.
Yeah.
I would like to see a biopic. That would work best.
Yes. Like a Gene Wilder biopic, I think would be dope. Cast that guy from The Bear. Awesome. But yes,
Perfect.
trailer's now out. It's coming out in December. I think it was December 15th that Wonka drops.
Jeez.
So, talking about prequels, and all that, we're getting sequels that I feel like I didn't think we were ever going to get.
Yeah, and it doesn't have the gravitas of Avatar, and not talking about Last Airbender. I'm talking about James Cameron's Avatar.
Yeah. So James Cameron has officially confirmed that he's working on multiple sequels to the cult favorite, Alita Battle Angel. So this comes from an interview with Forbes that he did, I think, either today or yesterday, this broke. Oh no, it was July 8th. So yeah, he's working on, and this is a weird thing for me.
Yeah.
So Alita Battle Angel. I don't know why I'm
Good for
having
Alita.
such a hard
It's
time with
okay.
it. But Alita Battle Angel. I saw bits and pieces. I don't remember the entire movie. It was cool for what it was. Um, I didn't think we would get more of it because it didn't do too hot when it came out. Critically, it did okay, but fan reception wasn't there. Um,
Yeah.
for all you, for everyone that doesn't know, it is based on a manga and anime, right? Did they have an
Yeah.
anime
So
for it?
the manga, manga at the time was very well popular. It was very popular at the
Yeah,
time, but I think it's one of those things where it's a cult thing. Like not not at the height of like Akira. Like let's say someone was talking about doing Akira, then of course that's going to get more love. But
yeah,
this is more cult where, or not cult, more niche and cult at the same
yeah,
time.
yeah.
So people that probably grew up back in the day reading Battle Angel, they're like, "Oh, this movie's gonna be dope." Probably didn't like it. I saw it in theaters. I enjoyed it. Can't tell you what I remember from it. I want to say Edward Norton was at the end, if that was him, but I don't know much about the lore to be like, "Oh, this was accurate or not." I just enjoyed the movie for what it was.
Yeah.
Now I think it's a little too late. Mind you, James Cameron is not directing these movies. I believe he was producing them. And I can understand why he would do it because he's a big fan of manga and anime, and I could imagine this is one of his favorite works, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why he's producing it. And that's just me making these assumptions. But to do multiple uh, sequels later on, maybe he's gonna have a more hands-on uh, uh, feelings in this movie, maybe to make it better, or I don't know.
So what I was gonna say is my biggest gripe with this is like this
Yeah,
man is putting so much on his plate. Like
because
he's
Avatar
a
is already a big thing.
yeah, like he's already like he already might not make it to the last Avatar movie. Like now you want to
Hey,
do
I still haven't seen.
multiple.
Well, I haven't seen the second one. I'm still petty.
It's good, dude, and that's what
I know.
sucks. It's good. Like when he was talking all that smack about like, oh, it's gonna be the number 3 or number 2, whatever. He's like, I'm not even worried, and we were like, you should be worried. He shouldn't have been worried.
I
It's a
I
fantastic
you know what
movie.
it is, and it's also time. Like I watch it. I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh, I should have seen this in theaters because I know I wasn't. Um,
But it is a movie that should have been seen in theaters. The special effects, the beauty of it all, it's art. It's moving art. But anyway,
yeah,
yeah, he's gonna be like 97 when the last one comes out. So why are you trying to push out multiple Battle Angel sequels? Like this man, I don't know. I think he's putting a lot for someone who hasn't done a lot in the past decade and a half, maybe. Like out of nowhere, now he's gonna be cranking out sequels nonstop. Maybe not that he hasn't done anything, but we haven't seen anything from him in the past decade and a half. To now, it's
next
like
thing you know, he's gonna be like,
he's
yeah, I'm gonna just reboot the Terminator franchise. I'm just gonna do it again. Now, if he did that, I would watch that
no thanks.
wholeheartedly.
Really?
Give me another. If you give me another Schwarzenegger, I'll do it.
If Arnold Schwarzenegger was in it,
No, I mean another
like a
person to
different. Oh,
take.
okay.
If you give me a nice replacement, or I don't know how you would do a Terminator. I Terminator Salvation. Even was a following and did its thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they could. I
Anywho,
mean, Salvation was the last one that I saw, and I just stopped after that. I liked Salvation, but yeah, James Cameron. Bottom line, just has too much going on. But before we move on to the video games, one last piece of news from a different James, going back to James Gunn. Um, on Threads this time around, literally on Threads, James Gunn put up a explanation of a short film that he was supposed to make, but I guess didn't have time to because of Guardians of the Galaxy and all that. So a couple years back, he tweeted out a thing talking about how he had this idea for a short movie explaining how Rocket met Groot. You know, Rocket Raccoon and Groot from the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. So this short story went as far as like the storyboarding process, but it never came to be. Like I said, things just picked up too much and they weren't able to divert resources and time to the short film. They just continued on with the movies. But he broke it down on threads. He did a full thread of multiple things saying how it would have went. It seems pretty cool. This also is coming off of news that we received earlier in the week where it was a deleted scene of what happens to the High Evolutionary. So it's like a nice little twofer for Guardians of the Galaxy news. Go ahead and look it up. It's IGN has both of those things. They have the deleted scene that was shared as well as the breakdown of the story. Basically, the root of it all is Rocket and Groot are in a prison. They end up like finding each other, and Rocket ends up becoming the protector of Groot, and they break out of prison together. That's the
I
gist.
like that.
But if you want the full details, go check it out on IGN. Now, speaking of IGN, IGN's known for video games, right?
Yes.
So we have some video game news to share. So, sticking with the Marvel theme, EA has announced a Black Panther game from the developers behind Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. So, great news. Shadow of Mordor was and is considered a fantastic game, RPG within the Lord of the Rings universe. Right now, all we have is a teaser image, and it just shows like the Black Panther icon, I guess, along with the claw necklace thing. That's all we have for right now. It's literally just been confirmed by EA in the studio, and they released that out. We don't know when it's supposed to be coming out, so don't expect that news to hit anytime. Plus, on top of that, with the current EA separation that's going on within the company,
Right. I was gonna ask about that, yeah.
don't hold your breath on any updates, like at all. Like this is gonna take a while. They gave no dates, which is smart on them, and we have no clue how long it's gonna be for it to actually get some traction and be able to be shown. So they did say though that it's an original third-person single-player adventure game that's being developed in partnership with Marvel Games. That's it.
Okay.
So
Question: Marvel Games, is it like a game studio, or is it like its own thing?
I I don't I don't think it's a game studio. I think it's just
That's not like
the
under
division of Marvel that handles the properties in video games.
because like there's Marvel Entertainment
Yeah.
and there's Marvel Association, like that the people that work with like Sony or at the
Yeah.
time, uh, 20th Century. So I'm trying to think like, and then Marvel Studios was always a thing until Disney was like gobbled it up.
Yeah, I think they're just divisions of Marvel the company. I don't they
Because
can't be
Marvel and then
studios because they don't put anything out like
yeah, and then Marvel because I'm trying to keep up with it now that I'm just thinking I have never sat down and thought about this. I remember Marvel Entertainment was just uh, or I guess Marvel is the comic books. Marvel Comics is the comics, and the entertainment would be like, I guess, cartoons
entertainment was
and
TV and movies.
yeah, yeah. Okay,
And then
all right.
studios was the actual studios that made the
Marvel
movies.
Studios.
And then when
Yeah,
Disney took it, it just became Marvel, and then it became different like divisions within Marvel that handle different stuff. So Marvel Association is still technically Marvel. They're just
they're still
working
doing
with
it.
another studio. Marvel Games is still Marvel, but it's the division that looks over their like that gives the okay for their characters and stuff, like when those properties are being made.
Because I'm thinking also like in Kingdom Hearts, Disney has like the properties. I don't know. I'm overthinking this. I'm gonna just let it go. It's like
Well,
it's like
you
when
want to
you
see Marvel and Star Wars and Kingdom Hearts? I mean, I do too.
oh, that'd be great. But that's not where I was going. But that's just wishful thinking, and I'm sure no one would refute that. But yeah, if I don't get a freaking lightsaber keyblade, what you? It's the hugest MMO on the planet, or sorry, in the entire existence of life. Um, but no, I'm overthinking it. It's like I eat the hot dog. I don't need to know what's in it, even though technically we know what's in it.
Okay, fan fantastic line. If someone could clip that out, I don't need to know what's in the hot dog, even though I do know what's in it and I eat it. Fantastic. So, moving on from that, another big thing in the headlines today is literally earlier today, Xbox was okayed. Well, no, they won the court battle against the FTC over the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. So the court ruled in Microsoft's favor. They can acquire Activision Blizzard. It's not technically. I think they were going over the fact that it was going to be like a monopoly, and it's not. So, for those of you that don't know, this has been a long, drawn out court case, and basically the FTC was blocking Microsoft. Federal Trade Commission was blocking Microsoft from acquiring Activision Blizzard, which they went through their own merger years back. Activision and Blizzard combined, and now Xbox wants to get them. So, one of the biggest things that was in this trial that came out over the weeks and months, one of the biggest concerns was turning these games into Xbox exclusive games. Activision, one of the biggest properties it has is Call of Duty. It is a massive franchise that's always been cross-platform, and now Microsoft has the ability to make it a Microsoft exclusive. So thereby putting a stranglehold on the gaming industry, right? On the commercial aspect of gaming, because people who buy systems to enjoy that game will now only buy that one system. So they also, there's a lot of things where like Microsoft admitted that they were losing the console wars, and there was a lot of different things that have come out. IGN, again, this is where I'm getting the news from. IGN has a fantastic article that that breaks down all of the like big things that came out from the trial, as well as the verdict, and they get more into like the legalese of everything. But it's I almost wish that they didn't win this, because now Microsoft and Xbox have not been doing great in video game landscape since arriving back in like 2000, 2001. They've always been in last place. They did a good job in their second generation with the Xbox 360, and then after that they've been losing again. It's also never been very popular across seas. It's been popular in America, but it's never won out in like Japan or anything like that. That is where video games do the best in Asian markets. They've been
Especially
trying.
when both the other consoles are from Japan.
Exactly, and they've been trying for decades at this point to garner that like relationship with Japanese studios as well, because that's another thing. They don't have a lot of exclusives, and they don't have a lot of Japanese studios to make these games. So I wish that they didn't win this, because we don't know what comes next. The thing that can come next, which sucks, is a massive amount of exclusivity.
Yeah.
It might be an unfair amount of exclusivity. I don't necessarily care about Call of Duty. That's not one of my things. But I don't think it should be exclusive to one platform.
I agree.
I also think that Xbox, with such a massive property like that, if they were to make it exclusive, I think they would ruin it.
100%.
So
They did it with their own thing.
exactly.
I was gonna say Halo. After four, well, four wasn't. I would say after Reach, which was Bungie,
Mm-hmm.
four was great. I think they didn't know when to stop. I remember when they announced four, they were like, "This is going to be the start of a new trilogy." I was already like, they ruined it.
Yeah.
Again, Four is great. Four is beautiful. I would never take that away from them. But the fact that they shouted on the mountaintop saying this was going to be a trilogy, I was like, nah. I barely batted an eye when they announced Halo 6. I was just like, okay, whatever. I love Halo as a franchise. I got my fill, and they just ruined it.
Yeah, it just they did the same thing with their like first parties, right?
Uh,
Like
years.
they're just driving them into the ground. So yeah, I mean, Activision Blizzard, we covered this when the merger happened, I believe.
Yes.
All the things that went under the umbrella. So it's a lot. There's a lot of studios and a lot of games that are there. This could be a huge win for Microsoft. Like this could be something where maybe they're just kind of like head honchos in the background and they don't really touch the day-to-day stuff, which would I think be the best, right?
Mm.
Get the money from that stuff and use it to, create more and don't touch the day-to-days. Like if it
Being
ain't
first
broke,
party.
don't fix it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm hoping that they are smart with this acquisition and they just let it be. Don't Elon Musk it. Don't go in there looking to shake stuff up because it's
Don't bring us
gonna
in.
go down. All we need is for another company to come in, like freaking Google or Amazon or whatever, and be like, hey, we now have the next ultimate American game thing, and then we're gonna get another thing that we
The
don't
thing is,
need.
Google and Amazon tried it. That did not last. And yeah, just don't mess up.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it. I think just don't mess it up. We don't. There's not a lot that we can speculate on. It's just like don't mess things up. But we shall see what happens. With that, we are done. We've covered everything on the docket, and we're
About to
gonna
wrap it up.
roll. We're gonna roll into the weekly wrap. So, Jay, what have you been watching, reading, or playing?
Um, Watching. Still on my rewatch of One Piece, which is a no-brainer. I am putting some. Turning the wheels on my rewatch on Seinfeld, dude. I watched an episode today, and for anyone that's a Seinfeld fan, you already know this, but I have to reiterate for the people that do not watch Seinfeld, you should. Um, Dude, Kramer is a menace. Like it's the scene where, or not even the scene, it's the episode, the nose job, where
Oh
George
my
is with a
God,
girl.
yes,
He's like, "Yeah, you could be beautiful if you have a nose job," and I'm just like, "Yo, he's such a menace to society." Like the whole group are bad; they're the worst. But Kramer, he is chaos. He is the Joker to Batman. Like
dude. The
if
best.
Batman was, yeah.
I was gonna say the best part of that scene is everyone's reactions, where Jerry's just like, "Oh my God."
Yes, yes, yes. When I first watched that, I was cracking up because I had to rewind to see everyone because it's like I feel like they all broke character, but I think Jerry broke character and had to turn around and throw his hand up because he couldn't, he would have laughed. So that's why he had to turn away from the camera. But it's such a great scene. Yes, I'm going through. This is my second rewatch, so it feels new to me. So I'm like,
Hmm.
but then some of the episodes are I do remember. Uh, I am watching an anime called Hell's Paradise because a lot of people have talked about it. Our
Hmm.
boy Time has been talking about it for a while. My collaborator, artist, told me about it. He has my Crunchyroll account, and he told me to watch it. The only reason I'm putting enough, I was like, no, I was like, yeah, I'll check it out. But the only reason I was like, I'll check it out this time because I guess season one's done. It's
Hmm.
only 13 episodes. So
So
I
you
was like,
just
I'm gonna binge through it.
blast through
I'm
it.
on
Yeah.
like episode 6 or 7 right now, and when it comes to the manga, it's already done. There is 13 volumes, so I'm like, depending on how this ends, I might just finish it and read it
Mm.
and like kill it like I did with like Demon Slayer. Like everyone's like, "Oh my god, Demon Slayer is so great," and I'm like, "Yeah, wait till you get to the end, bro." Like and not that I'm jumping off like different series here, but the way Demon Slayer ended may be lukewarm for some people. I think it's just it had to end this way because if it ended any other way, it would have just been. corny.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, that's besides the point. So watching that, um, slowed down on the Gendy Tartakovsky stuff. I need to go back, and I realize I'm skipping through stuff because I still haven't finished gone through my Hayao Miyazaki stuff. So I've been
Mm.
thinking about it. I want to go back. I'm trying to think if I saw a movie. Oh, forgot to mention in our last week's wrap, I didn't say this. I did watch Indiana Jones. For those who, if you
Yeah.
guys like Indiana Jones, definitely watch this one. I know the last one sucked. I didn't see the last one. I just heard from many people that it was horrible. Some people say just to check it out, do what you will. You have, God gave you free will. You do what you will with that free will. But I like this movie. I liked it a lot. Like if I had the time, I'd see it again. Or if I had the love and want and passion for it, I would see it again. Um, but I've seen the original three films, but maybe once or maybe the first one time. I just can't remember them. But from what I remember, it's like the movie is grounded, grounded, grounded. But it gets to the end, it gets into the supernatural sci-fi ness
Mm.
of the world. I think that's the appeal to a lot of people's want for these type of movies. So I saw that. Let's see, reading. I'm not reading anything right now. I honestly want to read The Plot Holes again. I just wanted to do a turnaround. The Plot Holes by Sean Murphy. I remember I spoke about that episodes back, where it's about characters from different books and genres coming together in this massive library to save the world's digital library, which this takes place in the future, but within different genres. If you guys don't, if that seems cool to you, definitely check it out. Sean Murphy is a great artist. If you ever read Batman's White Knight, or uh, what's it called, Joe the Barbarian, written by Grant Morrison, great book. Definitely for those who don't know about it, check him out. And then playing Final Fantasy. Like what am I gonna say?
Like, what else is
What,
there?
what is there? Played like one Mario Kart game, and I was like, okay, back to Final Fantasy. Um, I said last week I beat Jedi. I need
Yeah.
to go back and play Jedi and play one like the what do you call it, the bounty hunter stuff, because
Mm.
I went through it. I got spoiled on something. I think I said this before.
Yeah.
I was through the credits, and I was like, oh man, I want to know that. So that means I got to get through it. Um, yeah, and I think that's it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I watched. Oh, there was this movie with Jason Segel. I think you might enjoy it. It could. I know, like it's something like Andrea would watch, but you might like it too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Jason Segel. It's on I believe it's a Netflix original. Let me look that up real quick. I want to say it's called Windfalls, but I could be wrong.
I feel
It's
like I've heard of
basically
that.
yeah, it's basically about a guy that goes to steal from this rich guy's house. But yeah, it's called Windfall. It came out in 2022. Um, I'll read it. Okay, I'll read it to you. It got a 59 on Rotten Tomatoes, but I don't care about Rotten Tomatoes. I enjoyed it. Gabby started watching it, and then I was just sitting here and I was like, I'm gonna watch it. A man breaks into a tech billionaire's empty vacation home, but things go sideways when the arrogant mogul and his wife arrive at the last minute getaway.
Mm.
So people that are in it, Jason Segel plays the man. Wow, it's funny that I realized they're called. His name is Nobody because they don't have names. Uh, Jesse Plemons, the weird looking guy from Breaking Bad, plays the CEO, and then Lily Collins plays the wife.
Mm.
It's a cool movie, little short movie you might want to enjoy, or you would enjoy, not might want to. It's an hour and 30 minutes if you got the time. But yeah,
Okay.
that's my weekly wrap.
Okay.
That's my wrap.
Um, for me, watching. I don't know if I spoke about this last week, but my in-laws have gotten into Marvelous Miss Maisel. So while me and Erica have been like splitting our time there, we were watching it again from the beginning with them. Um, Fantastic show. Everyone go check it out if you haven't. Um, I watched. Been watching Riverdale against my will.
I enjoyed the first season. I didn't continue it.
So I watched the first season when it aired, and
Yes, same.
I was like, this is actually pretty dope because I was a fan of the cartoon. I think it
Archie
was,
Comics Weird Mysteries.
yeah, I think it was that,
When I grew up on, that's all I know of Archie's comics.
and it's the Weird Mysteries one, and Archie's the narrator, and it all takes place in Riverdale, and it's all like the weird things that are happening. And in Riverdale, it ended up being like, Jughead was the narrator of all these weird things happening, and I enjoyed the original one because it was, while still being weird and having a little bit of supernatural stuff to it, it was way more grounded. After the first season, I never watched it, and it like took off, and it is insane. And now, my wife's been watching it. She's made her way through it. She's been watching season 5 now, right? Yeah, and season 6 is the last one. She's been watching season 5, and I've been like around her when she's watching it and stuff. Some of it is cool, but then other stuff is like, it got to a point where it was grounded again, and I was like, okay, cool. Then a bomb goes off, and then an alternate reality happens. Then when the alternate reality is discovered by the characters in that reality, they have to like fix it. Then when they fix it,
So they really went. So I thought. So initially, I thought the show was going to be grounded and thriller mystery. Where because for those who don't know, Archie's Weird Mysteries is a thing. It's not part of the mainline Archie
yeah,
comics where it's just the romance and the Betty and the Veronica. That's like a separate thing.
yeah, it's not like the '50s Americana that the comics
Yeah,
is.
it's not. It's crazy that the show went that way. But
Yeah,
continue.
so
Has something happened.
in this, it's like season 4 and 5, I believe, that this stuff is happening. It gets a little more grounded. There's for Riverdale being a small town in upstate New York, it has a million serial killers that have gone through there. There's like a bunch of things that have happened. There's a lot of stuff with like the occult or whatever. And then finally, like I was saying, it got to this point where like it was getting grounded. Then a bomb went off, the alternate reality stuff. Characters found out that they're in an alternate reality and they have to fix it. So they fix the alternate reality, and then it goes back to the regular version of Riverdale, only to find that like now all the main characters have superpowers. They all have superpowers, literal superpowers. Like Archie
Oh, Misfits,
literally becomes Superman.
of
Like
course.
invulnerable to everything, and his one weakness is this rare metal that they have in town. Like it's in the mines that like nowhere else in the world has it, but like Riverdale. And it weakens him when he's near it, like literally Superman. Then everyone else gets a bunch of other stuff. It's like the typical superpowers, like one person can read minds, another person can control fires, one person can like not necessarily figure out if you're telling the truth, but they can read your energy and know if you're a bad guy. Um, One is literally like it just started happening. Hers manifested later. She's literally poison ivy, like the exact thing, except instead of like the flower thing being her deal, it's the Black Widow is her deal, like the spider. But it's literally she has the skill set of poison ivy. Like her body produces the venom, but it doesn't kill her. She can control how she releases it. She can do the kiss of death. Like it's literally her power set is the same thing. Um, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff, and then on top of that, throughout these seasons, they've like introduced a lot. Like they've heavied up on like witchcraft and stuff, and like their spells and
So that's what I was
incantations.
So that's what I
Like
wanted to tie into. I remember when Sabrina came out on Netflix, there was talks of doing a crossover. So that's
so,
why I was like,
the first crossover happened in this alternate reality version of Riverdale,
okay,
and now literally this episode that my wife was watching, that was coming up, it's happening again in the real world. She is going to be coming back.
okay.
I don't get into all that stuff. It's a little too like I don't like dealing with like witches and hells and that kind of vibe. Like I don't like that.
The only Sabrina I like is the Melissa. What's her name?
Melissa Joan Hart.
Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
that's my
And
Sabrina.
they referenced that in the Netflix show too. Like she jumps into an alternate reality where she becomes that Sabrina. So
That's cool.
anyway, Yeah, that was the thing that's been happening. I've been watching in the background like Friends again. I just restarted Friends. That's been, like I said, my background show. I feel like I've watched movies too. Oh, I watched the new Tom Segura special on Netflix, Sledgehammer. Hysterical. If you like
Hmm.
comedy, if you know Tom Segura, like you're in for a good ride. If you do not know Tom Segura and his type of comedy, he will offend you. He offended my wife a couple of times. Um,
Oh, I've seen him before.
but I like his comedy, his humor. Um, I think that was the only other like random thing I watched. Honestly, um, I feel like I haven't been watching a lot. Reading, I don't do that. Then playing. Um, I've been playing some 2K here and there. I think I finished the story mode, but like,
Okay, you finally did it. I remember you were going through. We were talking about
I
how
mean, I'm
important.
still gonna play, and I'm still gonna
No,
become
I
the
mean I'm talking about like the career part of it.
yeah the. So here's the weird thing: like the credits didn't roll or anything. Like
Yeah.
on the career thing, like I don't know if I finished it, but there's no more missions, right? Like there's stuff I can continue to do. I'm still in my rookie season. I haven't even finished it, but like I done all the main quests that have lined up. But then there was no like big ending, you know. So I don't really know what's happening with that. But yeah, so I've been playing that. Um, Still taking a break off of most games. I've been playing solitaire again recently on my phone. Just fun brain teaser whenever I have the time. And then another thing that I picked up and played with the wife this weekend is called Villainous. It is the Disney board game it's a role playing board game. So think of like it's not as in depth as something like D&D or anything like that, but it's a role playing board game. It's a card game with a mini game board, and you take on the role of a Disney villain. And each person, there's six different villains. I think it's Captain Hook, um, Captain Hook, Ursula, Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland, Prince John from Robin Hood, Jafar, and I'm missing one in there. Oh, and Maleficent. So you pick one of them, and your goal is to win. You're supposed to win as the villain, right? You're supposed to do whatever, and you have an objective that you have to complete. Each character has their own objective, and in those objectives, there's a couple of steps that you have to do in order to win as your character. Now, since you're both kind of competing to complete your own objectives, there's ways that you can interfere with the person you're playing against. So that's where like the 1v1 aspects happen. And I think you could play up to like six people, I guess. Um, so there's different things. So when you land on a certain spot, you can perform certain actions where you introduce those villains' heroes onto their board game, and it keeps them from being able to progress. So there's a decent amount of mechanics for like a Disney game. You would think it's fairly simple and all that. There's a decent amount of mechanics at work, but once you get going, it's super fun.
Okay.
Like our first game to learn it, because Erica doesn't play those kinds of games. I've just started to dabble in those kinds of games. So our first game took about 2 hours. After that, it took about half an hour. Like because once you learn it, there is a little bit of learning curve, and then you're off to the races. It's easy to learn, hard to master kind of deal. And every
Got it.
time you play, you shuffle your cards around. You have two different decks, so your deck is basically like all your scenarios and how you complete the objective. And then there's a fate deck, which is where your enemies can draw from, and that like messes you up.
Got
So every time you play, you shuffle those decks, and everything comes in a different order. You can get the heart of the cards in the beginning, and you draw like three cards that you need to do your stuff, and you're just sitting in the cut waiting for things to happen. Or you can draw everything at the very end. Like there's stuff like it'll make you discard a bunch of things, and then like you're kind of screwed till you go back around.
it.
When
Yeah.
you start to introduce more than three people, it definitely becomes like a management game where like you have to figure your stuff out, but you also have to keep track of everyone else. It's cool. There's, like I said, a lot of mechanics, but very fun. It's called Villainous, and there's a bunch of expansions as well. So like, there's another. I think there's two Disney related expansions that add different villains, and then there's a Marvel expansion that gives you a bunch of Marvel villains, and a Star Wars expansion that gives you a bunch of Star Wars villains. So super fun. I suggest everyone go check it out. You could get it at Target. It was on sale this weekend for $20, and it's a like $50 board game. But
That sounds
that's
like a
what
lot. It's
it's cool. It's a fun time. But that was the newest thing that I played. I still have stuff sitting around that I need to get to, but yeah, that was it. So with that, before we log off, just want to remind everyone that we will be at Tampa Bay Comic Con this upcoming July 27th. So at the end of the month, we will be having a booth at Tampa Bay Comic Con for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll be there all day, me and Jay. And we'll be there promoting Jay's comic books as well as the Average Jay's podcast. So come check it out. We'll have things to give away, stuff for you to buy, and just come say hi.
Yeah.
As always, if you want to watch us live, we're on twitch.tv/theaveragejays. And if you want to follow us for updates, you can see us at Twitter at The Average Jays and on Instagram at The Average Jays Podcast. We always record Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, unless we tell you something else. And after the show, we do J&J After Dark, where we get a little uncensored and unfiltered as we break down a topic. We get crazy. So, as always, I am Jay, Justin Ruiz.
And I'm Jay, John Francois.
And we will catch you guys on the next one.
Don't forget to drink your water.
So stick around for the After Dark. We'll be back soon.